I had the grace to start quite early. I'm still in my 20s, but most importantly, we've built businesses that are worth way more than our age put together. We've spent the last 5 to 10 years building businesses for both ourselves as well as for our other entrepreneurs, people who pass through the alumni class as well as clients. So basically, what I've done with my life in the last couple of years is to dedicate it to making sure that Nigerians have global, world-class brands and people who are more in tune to what it takes to succeed in 21st century, because the world has changed so much in the last couple of years and a lot of things have also changed, and one of them is how business is done. How can people learn, unlearn, and relearn in line with the new corporate culture as well as organizational trends.
Tell us how you started Hexavia Group and what you required to set it up.
Sincerely, I think that the amount of time it takes you to cross the darkness is way the amount of time it takes to strike the light. So we came out of school and we realized that there was a fundamental problem. It was the fact that people are not employable, and on top of that, there's still no jobs. You know that crap of go to school, get good jobs, get good grades, and you get good jobs? That doesn't work anymore. So there has to be a new dynamics to life. And I realized that the fundamental problem isn't even about employment anymore. It has to be about entrepreneurship, but we have to equip people to be that. So what we did was invest in people's minds. So when I started off Hexavia, the driving force to me was to duplicate a lot of the things I've learned through years, because I came through apprenticeship and I came through mentorship and I learned a lot from older people before me, and I realized that there were basic principles and basic steps that it takes to succeed. So I built all of this with my team in the last couple of years with zero capital, but right now it's paying off a lot. What that means is that I think that we have an inspiring story for other people to hear, because it's never what you don't have that stops you in life. It's what you have and don't know how to use. And the main thing is people don't understand that what you call disadvantage is actually an advantage if you know how to use it. So what we decided to do for ourselves is to be able to create a world where people can come in with just a dream, and then we'll find the skills on the way based on certain principles. Well, I think the first thing is the depth of the calling, without sounding too deep or too spiritual, but I think it was grace. When you finally find your purpose early in life, it can't be anything else but grace, because the people I met and the things I knew early enough is what accumulated to what I'd call grace. And except you have that grace, it wouldn't happen. But after the grace, we went into work, which was what you call like the 10,000 hour rule. We put in 10,000 hours of work in learning the things that would take us to where we're going to. So basically what inspired the starting of Hexavia was, like I said, a basic need. And that basic need is, there are a lot of us who don't really want to work because we don't fit into the corporate culture, because we think we can do a lot more with ourselves. I think that any company that you work for, you can't say that, you can't allow their kids can't work in, or you can't say that I can transfer it to someone else. It's not really yours. You're really not a boss. What you are is just a supervisor. You're supervising another person's dream. So I'm one of those people who realize that there are 3 sets of people: the dreamers, the thinkers, and the doers. Not everyone's going to be the doer. The doers are usually the employees, but the thinkers and the dreamers are more of the entrepreneurs. So I figured out early enough that I was born to be a dreamer. I had a special gift, and that gift would be to look at an idea and create something out of it, which basically is taking a dream into fruition, tangible stuff. So what I decided to do was go on a voyage to know what it takes to move that idea into a product. And we mastered that by trial and error. The first set of businesses we stumbled upon and we helped build were businesses that eventually grew up to become very successful businesses and brands that a lot of people in Nigeria know. So that gave us the audacity to say, you know what, hey guys, we can do this. We have a track record. We have a history, and would you want to put in your money into this? But that was more of the experiential design, more of the actual work, consulting. But the later product line that came and probably made us a lot more popular was the speaking engagement. It was the trainings, it was the radio programs that we had. So basically, what I've come to realize in all of this is grace, it's focus, and it's a lot of work. Grace, focus, and a lot of work.
Hexavia Limited is a business, brand, strategy, corporate trainings, and human capital development company. The core of the operation starts off in brand, organizational, and business development. They offer human capital development services, which are categorized under professional advisory, trainings, strategy, analysis, and capacity building.
Basically, what we do is 4 things. We do business development, we do strategy, we do management consulting, and we do trainings. Now, so for the business, what we do is we do business plans, we write marketing plans, brand strategy documents, and all that kind of stuff. And we've built a lot of businesses, from the African Movie Academy Awards to the Sharing Life Issues with Chas B, to a little bit of Slot and New Age, and a lot of luxury brands that you naturally want to spend your money on. And that's for the business development. And then for the trainings, we've interacted with over 5,000 CEOs, people who's passed through the masterclass, and people who's been able to create a network for themselves, not just coming for the class. I think the difference between us and other people who do training is after the training, you graduate into a network, into our own business club, basically made up of top-level CEOs and aspiring CEOs. So that intercourse between the CEOs and the aspiring CEOs gives birth to what you call mentorship. So we are very big with mentorship, and we're very big with support. The support could be investment support. Because it's a business club, there are a lot of people who come in as investors who just have a lot of money and they don't have ideas. And then there are other people who have ideas, but they don't have a lot of money. But in that gap, there's something missing, and it's the human capital part, the trust, the character. So we don't play with those kind of things within the network. So it's hard for you to get into the club, right, because of character. But when you get into that club, it holds a lot of opportunities. And then we have the Decoded series, which happens every Tuesdays in Lekki Phase 1, which is really powerful because that's where you can find, say, 50 of the most sound and intelligent minds in Nigeria who are thought leaders, people who after work, they roll up their sleeves to share their experiences that are powerful, right? So I think that the main thing that we do is business development, is brand, and is management consulting.
Hexavia have structured over 50 startup businesses and have been able to add tremendous value in training organizations while also developing brands, strategy, and business roadmaps to an ever-growing number of clients whose business relies on them for strategy, increase in productivity, and peak performance and expertise through their trainings. In 2013, Hexavia Limited launched the Hexavian Masterclass. Today, it's arguably Africa's fastest-growing business sanctuary. The Masterclass is a full-day intensive class on business, brand, strategy, and project management for entrepreneurs and managers. And it's in line with world-class businesses and brands. It runs monthly in a various private resort and spa in 3 major cities, Lagos, Port Harcourt, and Abuja. In 2014, Hexavia facilitated a 48-man retreat for one of Africa's biggest brand communications company. The retreat was to capture the organization's corporate culture and standard operating procedures.
I think to me, it comes from my school of thought that the difference between you now and you in the next 10 years will be people you meet and things that you know. And that's what the masterclass does. It provides those 2 things, knowledge and connections. For the knowledge part, it comes from us facilitating those trainings. Now, as much as we have a lot of content and it's a powerful platform to learn, but I've also realized the trick that when you put 20 of the most powerful CEOs or minds in a room, you'll be shocked at what they can all learn from each other. So what you stand to gain is it's not just a stereotypical class where people come and they feed you with knowledge that they know. It's a class where people feed you with knowledge that they know plus the experiences that you've had. So it's a case study class. It's a place where people come and we lay down their business, their challenges, their strengths, their weaknesses, their opportunities, and most importantly, their threats. We analyze it and we look at what it takes to think of the future in line with what they're currently doing. So to me, the key thing for me is the masterclass to me is not just about knowledge, right? It's about creating a community, a cartel, a positive one of people who would run this country, because we're living in a world where everything is changing. And what is going to be that determining factor would be the quality of the minds that are effecting that change. We've passed that stage in the world where you're looking for some bunch of people who are caught to run a country or to run the world. That's not how the world is run now. It's run by people who are powerful and people who have the assets of what it takes. And what I mean by powerful is the quality of your mind, right? A lot of people are 2x2 minds. So the work for us is how do we upgrade those 2x2 minds to 4x4 minds, and how do we fit 2x2 mind into a 4x4 state of mind and the state of world. So we're looking at people who have a particular state of mind, what I naturally want to call the empire state of mind. People who can take a small idea and turn it into a big product. People who think that the world is too small for them and they want to be way bigger than the world can be, because we're looking at, for the first time, we're looking at businesses that are not just thinking about Earth anymore. I mean, Richard Branson is starting a Virgin Galactic that's going to start creating businesses for people who want to live outside of Earth. And if you can think of people with that kind of mind, you know that we Africans have to step up our game. Let's stop building businesses for people who are trying to pay house rent, pay school fees, and all that little things. Let's look at people who can say, you know what, there's an unemployment problem in Nigeria. We need 5 million jobs. Can I create a business that can create 5 million jobs? Can I create a business that can have 1,000 entrepreneurs? Can I create a business that can solve the next problem? Can I find a cure for Ebola? Can I find stuff that will stop the death rate among kids, the mortality ratios? Can we bring it down? And I think that it's important that most people understand that we Africans have to stop trying to be good. We have to start being great. There's one thing to have a good business. A good business is any business that makes money. That's it. But a great business is a business that makes money and adds tremendous value that it can be transferred to another generation. And that's something we don't have yet, and that's something we're trying to build.
This is getting very, very interesting.
This is probably one of the most open interviews I'd ever gave. The first thing I faced when I started is discrimination. I never had that challenge of not knowing what I want to do with my life because, like I said, like this God's grace, we had the opportunities to know what our passion is. So the first thing is discrimination. And when I'm talking discrimination, I'm talking about age. We started out really young in an industry where to be a consultant, you must be at least in your 40s or 50s with years of experience. And we have people who just can't unlearn, right? People who will never give young people a chance. And any young person who's watching this will know that it's a fundamental fact. So what we decided to do to face that discrimination is to be excellent at what we do. So pay attention to this. The best way to fight discrimination is excellence. It doesn't matter whether it's age discrimination, it's gender discrimination. It has to be something that you have that other people don't have. The Bible would say that a man's gift maketh way for him. Get to that point with your competency that people can't stop but give you the job because there's no one who's better than us. So the first time I got a chance to be on stage, on air, I killed it really good. To that point where they had to call the station and say, you need to bring this back on. You need to bring this guy back on. So to me, there's discrimination even till now. The discrimination is, we're trying to challenge status quo, we're trying to do things differently. But I've learned that if you paint a picture, even if it's different and hold it long enough, after a while, people would believe that dream, people would believe that vision. I just say this bluntly and sincerely without apologies. I think too many young people are so much in a hurry to be successful financially. They just want to blow. They just want to hammer in those words. They are not ready to put in work. So I think if you're a startup or you're an aspiring entrepreneur in school, the first thing you need to do is to put yourself up for sacrifice. What I mean by sacrifice is spend time around the vicinity of your passion. It's not going to be easy. It's a lot of hard work. It's mentorship. For example, if you say you want to be a business developer like me, spend time around people like us. If you say, you know what, I want to be a trader selling fast consumer goods, walk into the office and tell them you want to work for free. Because nobody's going to turn down a job that's for free, an employment opportunity for you when you're saying you don't want a job. So the first step to me is before you start looking at all the money you can make from entrepreneurship, because you see all the fancy cars that we entrepreneurs drive, you have to first of all look at the amount of work that goes into it. First of them is a lot of work by mentorship. So you have to have the knowledge. So if we say you want to sell a recharge card business, right? Sit down with somebody who sells recharge card. Just be humble because humility and learning goes together. After that step, right, you need to sit down and draw out your plan. It's never too early to have a plan. I'm not saying you must have a fancy business plan, but just a note and a pad that draws bullet points of where you want to be in the next 10 years, where you want to be in the next 20 years, you know, how you intend to go there within your own limited knowledge and share it around your mentors. Remember I said mentorship. So it's not just you going there, have somebody you look up to. There has to be someone you look up to and you have access to, right? Someone who has your time, or most times even if he doesn't have the time, you have to make him interested in you so that he has the time, because you're about to be a CEO of a company. That's what you want to be. So you have to, first of all, to me, is spend a lot of time in the vicinity of your interest, your passion, right? The second one is spend time with your mentor, right? Third one is have a plan. And then the fourth one is just start. And this sounds ridiculous when I say just start. So many people are waiting till the point where they have enough capital so they can start. I've learned the trick: start small. Dream big, start small. Start, and the tools you need will be found on the way. The tools will be finance, it will be people, it will be skill. Most times when you start a business, you're not even the best at it, you're not even good at it. But if you keep doing it over and over again, it's what you call the 10,000 hour rule. You get better at it. By the 5th to 6,000, you would have learned so much about that job, and you would have called, at that point, you'll be called a master, right? So to me, it's the practice and the starting that makes it work.
You said so much already, but I would like you to have like a last word, a message to the entrepreneurs watching you right now, particularly the young entrepreneurs.
The difference between you now and you in the next 10 years are two things. One, the things you know, and two, the people you meet. Always invest in the both of them. The other school of thought is that if what you've done yesterday still looks big to you today, then you have not done much today. So you should learn to go further ahead. Always be eager to learn, to unlearn, and to relearn. And always make sure that as you keep climbing up the ladder, pay attention to the skills and the things that got you to the door, and never stop it, never lose it. Anybody can fall off a ladder by accident, but no one ever climbs a ladder by accident. There are basic steps, there are basic principles, and there are basic laws to life. Always make sure you don't break them.